Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome here if it's your first time. You know what the video is about, you clicked on the thumbnail and here we are. This is the box and it's a large one, but it's a lovely one. Let's have a look at it. Yes, the Dream, the Simgot EM10 Dream. What a lovely box. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So yeah, what a lovely, beautiful box. And as you open it, the gold continues, it reveals itself. So it's a really nice unboxing experience. As always, we'll start with the price, which is $439. Now, the Simgot EM10, it is a 10 driver hybrid IEM. It's got one dynamic driver, 8 balanced armatures, and 1 piezoelectric driver. It's codenamed the Dream, and here we go. Let's have a look at it now. Before I go further though, I just want to say, despite having such a wonderful, beautiful box and great unboxing experience, everything inside is pretty ordinary. You get the IEMs, you get a cable, which I'll look at in a sec. You get a pretty decent carrying case, but it's that kind of material that will deteriorate and fall apart after 2 or 3 years. Well, if you live in tropical heat like I do. And inside, you like 6 pairs of generic ear tips. I think if you're paying what, $439, yeah, we could do with some better, more variety and more quantity, more sizes of ear tips. There's the extra plug because it is a modular cable there. Let's have a look at it now. So you get a 3.5mm and a 4.4mm termination in the box. It's a silver plated copper cable, but it's really beautiful. You can see the gold threads woven through it there. It glitters in the light. It's just a really, really pretty cable. It handles beautifully. It feels good. It's got a good thickness to it. It's not super fat, but it feels very robust and strong. Let me show you the mechanism there for changing the termination. Super simple. It's just that easy. So it's a good cable. But let's get back to the IEMs. That's what they look like. Now, some people, I saw someone online complaining that, oh, the shells don't feel premium enough for the price. What do you expect to get? Come on. I mean, you got these beautiful resin shells. Got these lovely aluminium alloy face plates. They look fantastic. They've got a matte finish. You can see one is black and one is silver color with the Dream moniker there and a single vent at the bottom of the face plates. You know, whoever said that was probably thinking of the Simgot Supermix 4, because it's essentially exactly the same shell but with a slightly thinner aluminium faceplate. But I think, you know, I think they look nice. They're fairly low key. Some people might be upset that they're 2 different colors. Personally, I don't care. I kind of like it. But anyway, I find these shells really, really comfortable. They fit beautifully in my ears. Right now, I know everybody's waiting to hear about how they actually sound. I'll just move that case aside for a moment. So let's get into the sound. And my first impression of this one, it's a musical IEM, but it's got very good technicalities. The bass is deep and textured. The mid-range is nice and vibrant and articulate. And the treble is light, airy, and smooth. Now, this is not an IEM for audio purists or people who demand absolute transparency or neutrality. It's for music lovers who want the maximum engagement in their music without compromising on the fidelity. Let's throw up a graph, and that is what the graph looks like. You can see we do have an elevated sub bass there. Now, let's talk about the bass. So given Simgot's penchant for, you know, fairly balanced in terms of tonality and moderate bass levels, I was pretty surprised to hear the level of the bass on the EM10, which is, it's like unapologetically boosted and fun. So like I said, not for neutral lovers, but people who enjoy a bit of bass, a bit of low end in there, bit of meat on the bone, you're gonna love the bass on these. It's still not a bass head IEM though. It's still reasonably balanced. I mean, it's still roughly based on the Simgot 2019 target, which is very harmonish. But with that emphasis on the sub bass, the EM10 can shake things up down low when needed. However, it doesn't just blast everything with bass, though. It's not just like across the board fat bass. It kind of adapts itself to every individual track, and it delivers just the right amount of bass and thump and rumble for whichever track you're playing to. So it's very versatile in that sense. Fortunately, the mid bass doesn't get neglected. There's plenty of impact and presence in the mid bass, even if it's not as boosted as the sub bass, but it's a high quality bass with good texture, good definition. The leading edges of bass notes are slightly blunted or slightly rounded, but most of all, it's a natural analog sounding bass, and it's engaging, but it doesn't intrude on the mid-range despite being somewhat boosted. Let's talk about the mid-range next, and the mid-range is a little bit more serious in its demeanor compared to the bass. Yeah, there's ample warmth and, sufficient note size to create a lifelike and immersive space. It's not the most forward or revealing mid-range presentation. It kind of leans further towards the musical rather than the analytical side of the line, yet it's still detailed, it's nice and articulate, and most of all, it's free of congestion or muddiness. So it's a nice smooth mid-range, it's free of graininess, it's free of sibilance. Belting female vocals, they never become shouty. Male vocals sound nice and chesty, but they don't sound muffled or thick. And instruments have just the right note size, and each is distinct and well defined, partly due to the treble tuning, which moves us now onto the treble. Yeah, so for the treble, I'm usually wary of piezo treble due to its distinct timbre. It's got this kind of distinct ringing timbre to it, but in this case, I think the piezo treble is done nicely. There's no splashiness or brittleness in the highs. It's an inoffensive treble tuning, but at the same time, it's not the most vivid or striking treble either, so it's not super precise. There is a slight softness and warmth to the treble, which ensures that it's non-fatiguing, but if you're a treble lover, if you're a treble lover, you might wish for a bit more bite and a bit more shimmer in the highs than the EM10 is going to provide. Finally, Soundstage and technicalities. Look, the Soundstage has got fairly large dimensions. I will add the Soundstage does improve with proper amplification. Like the EM10 is reasonably easy to drive, but it doesn't mind having a bit more power underlying. The instrument separation and layering, I would say, are decent. They're not outstanding, but the overall resolution is pretty good, pretty darn good. The space between instruments isn't completely black or empty, as there's some blending of sound due to the sort of musical tuning. Like if you want just absurdly good technicalities, in most cases you do have to compromise on tonality. So when you've got a warmer, fuller tonality like the EM10 here, the technicalities do take a little bit of a hit, but regardless, they do perform quite well. Alright, time for some comparisons. Going to start with the Simgot Supermix 4, which is what everybody's been talking about. The EM10, is it worth upgrading from the Supermix 4? If I can just figure out how to put it down. So the Supermix 4 has got one dynamic driver, one balanced armature, one planar, and one piezo. So it's got a really exotic driver configuration. And the price of the Supermix 4 is $149, so it's roughly $300 less than the EM10. Now that's something important, that just keep that in mind. So like I said earlier, almost identical in terms of build. The shells are pretty much identical. The only difference being the thickness of the aluminium on the faceplates, and of course the vents there. The EM10's vent is on the faceplate, and the Supermix 4 has one on the faceplate and another one just near the 2-pin sockets. But as far as the sound goes, SM4 slightly less bass impact, but more upper treble, which gives it a slightly brighter tonality than the EM10. Both of these have a similar sound signature still, but the SM4 isn't quite as resolving, and in addition it's less forgiving of sibilance and poor recording. So if there is sibilance in a track, the Supermix 4 is going to sort of be a little bit more agitating than the Dream or the EM10, which is super smooth from top to bottom. Another difference is in the timbre of vocals and instruments, where I think the EM10 outmatches the SM4 in regards to naturalness and accuracy. And furthermore, the SM4's upper mid-range sound a bit more tinny at higher volumes. They can get a little bit shouty. Oops. Now, they've both got a similar soundstage, like in terms of size, but the EM10's audio quality sort of stands out due to that superior resolution, which results in slightly better separation and imaging. And although the difference in audio quality is definitely noticeable, it's not a drastic transformation between the two, or drastic, difference. They're not leagues apart in audio quality. And this is a perfect example of diminishing returns in audio gear, where in this case you're paying like roughly $300 extra just to squeeze out minimal gains with the EM10. Whereas I'm pretty sure most people are going to be happy with the SM4. Now, whether or not the upgrade is worth the cost to you or to people in general, it's going to depend on how fanatic you are about getting the utmost audio quality, and of course, how deep is your wallet. Right, another comparison, this time with the Earphones Onyx. And I chose this one basically because I have very little other in this price range at around $400. So the Earphones Onyx is $533, so it's a bit more expensive than the Dream. It is a quad driver IEM. It's got one dynamic driver and 3 balanced armatures. It's got these rugged sort of all metal shells, so it's heavier and a little bit bigger in terms of size. And when it comes to sound, the Earphones Onyx, yeah, it does sound like that. It has an earthier tonality than the EM10. It's got more fullness in its upper bass, and it's also got a laid back treble, and those two combined give it a kind of a warmer tonality. However, the core mid-range is somewhat recessed on the Onyx here compared to the EM10, but the vocals on this one, on the Onyx that is, they're more forward and more intimate somehow, because it's due to the way they've done those valleys and peaks in the upper mids and the treble. So vocals really jump out at you. Female vocals, however, may exhibit a touch of sharpness on the Onyx here and there, or shoutiness, whereas the EM10 is definitely smoother there, albeit less vibrant. And in terms of resolution, I'd say both of these are fairly similar, and in detail retrieval as well. However, the Onyx has more stage depth and a slightly more 3D holographic feel to its imaging. Alright, so that, guys, is the Simgot EM10. I think it's a wonderful IEM. It is really, really good. I think it is actually worth the money, but when you look at it side by side with the Supermix 4, look, honestly, I think they probably priced the Supermix 4 too low. It is extremely good value, and when people think, should I spend another $300 on top of that just to get a little bit more audio quality, it's probably not going to happen, because on top of the audio quality being only slightly better, the shells are basically the same quality. So the SM4 is, it's probably the EM10's biggest competitor. So take that however you will. I am going to say I think I love the EM10. Is it worth that $400 plus? Probably, yeah. For me, I'd say yes. But, I'll leave it up to you. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Pa Family, audiophile style. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button before you go. If you would like to support the channel, check out my Patreon link down below. It costs you as little as $2 a month. So, yeah, and I think that is everything. So until next time, I'll see you later.